Well, the Redwolves are 24-1. They're 22 in the RPI and not ranked. Who are the Redwolves? Well, you probably have to follow volleyball pretty closely to know that Arkansas State is maybe the best kept secret in the NCAA right now. And the Redwolves coach, David Rehr in Jonesboro, Arkansas, joins me. And you guys are flying high. This is a pretty cool story you got going on.
It's been a fun season so far.
Yeah, I would say. Now, I watched you play Appalachian State last week. It was the battle of the two unbeaten teams in the Sun Belt Conference. You lost the first set, had to come back in three, and then in an odd quirk of scheduling, you play them again Thursday night. And, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is, but we've had several games in our conference where, for some reason, the conference found that we had to play teams back to back. We've never played a straight back to back. We played a Friday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday match, but yeah, it's not uncommon, but it is weird the way that both schools are what they are going into it.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a little bit about yourself. I know you were a junior college coach at a couple of schools, most recently Blinn in Texas, and then took the Arkansas State job 4 years ago. Last year, you guys won 21 matches, so it's not like we should be overly surprised that you're doing well. But what was the key from when you took over 4 years ago to get you to the point to where you are now?
Well, the hardest part, when in the junior college world is you can retool a team in a year, and then be competitive. The way recruiting works at the 4-year level, it's something where you've got to be patient and make sure you get the right ones. And so the first 2 years were about building the program. And then, we made pushes with freshmen 3 years ago who are now juniors for us that are key players. And then developing the players that we had. And it's just the slow process of doing it the right way and trying not to get the quick fix, but getting the right kids in that'll buy into the program that we have and the style of play that we want to play. And it wasn't fun in the beginning, but it's definitely paying off last year and paying off this year.
When you talk about some of the older kids who have been there, but you've got a freshman, our Carlissa May from Lee Summit outside of Kansas City. That's got to be a nice surprise. She leads you in kills, hitting 302, and she's only 5'10".
Yeah, well, 5'10 is generous. That's something when we make up when they sign. I don't think she's above 5'8.5". So
really?
we may correct that later on in the media guides. But when people first see your roster, they don't want to see 5. You don't want them to see 5'8". And even our setter's 5'8". I mean, it's something where we're not about the biggest teams. I know when you talk about the Big Ten and talk about some other programs that they've got size. We've got some size, but we're not just grossly in size. So it's about getting the right kids and the style of play that we have is, we're going to, throw the ball out to the outsides as fast as we can. And that dictates someone jump and play with speed. And Carlisa fits that bill.
You mentioned setter Mallory Washington, junior from St. Louis. She's having a great season. And, I wonder about some of these kids. I mean, Drew Jones from Fort Smith. A lot of people don't know that Arkansas juniors volleyball, the club scene is pretty good, and so is Missouri and Illinois, where you're getting kids. And then Darby Graff is a transfer from Texas A&M. All good players. And you and I talked about this before we started this chat, and I joked with you, but I said, wait, you don't have any foreign players. And with all due respect to you and to other programs who use them, I mean, normally when an Arkansas State is 24-1, has won 20 in a row, and has risen like this, there's usually a couple of big bangers from Eastern Europe or something,
No, we made a conscious effort. My first year, we're playing at Kansas, and they did the introductions, and we didn't have a single kid get introduced from Arkansas. And then I kind of looked at my bench and just thought we had one kid from the state of Arkansas, and it kind of embarrassed me a little bit because I think that we're supposed to represent our area, and we're supposed to represent at least a form of it, and not having anybody from Arkansas made me have a bad taste in my mouth. So we made a conscious effort of trying to make sure the best kids in Arkansas stayed at home. And so getting Drew Jones, getting a Brentley Weaver, who's one of our kids off the bench that she plays some, it's important to us. And then having this little bubble of kids from the St. Louis area, which is only 3 hours from us, and then the Memphis area, which is only an hour from us. So we wanted to get those kids to kind of be what we represent. And, in the junior college world, we've had foreign kids in the past, but, we've always been successful at Blinn as well with having the American kids. We had really good American players. And that's, I think we wanted to build it on and build something that the community could be as excited about as what we do off the court is what we do on the court.
Yeah, you got like another kid, Marky Shadig, your libero. She's a junior from Little Rock. She's got over almost 500 digs this year. And every week when the Sun Belt Conference awards come out, it's almost like every week there's Marky Shading.
Well, she led the nation last year in digs per set and total digs. So it was something where she came out of the blue. She was a honorable mention All-American, but I think one of the reasons why, one, we don't recognize liberos, that they should be on every first team or second team and third team All-American team. I don't know why we don't do that. One, but also we don't have the name recognition that Marky could have gotten the recognition she deserved in the first three teams in the All-American race. But I think that that's another kid that we played Florida Gulf Coast this year, and the coach asked me, you know, how was that recruiting war for her, and how do we get that kid? No one was on her. We saw her at a camp, and she was in Arkansas. Her mom's a high school coach, and Chris Poole from Florida State was actually working the camp and said, I've known that kid for a long time. And I saw her do what she could do and was immediately enamored by her. And then the recruiting process started after that. But, you know, it's one of those things where you've got to find talent somewhere else when you're at Arkansas State at the beginning. You got to find the kids that will help you build your program the right way. And then, you know, the Mallory Warringtons from St. Louis, or Setter from the Marky Shadigs, and then the Kelsey Rice is another kid. She's a St. Louis CYC kid that played with Mallory, but we got her because she was big. She was a 6'4" middle. She wasn't supposed to play volleyball or start in volleyball, but we had some injuries and things that came up, and she had to get thrust in the role. So we weren't good their freshman year. I mean, we went 15-19 their freshman year and just played some bad volleyball at times, but that developed our foundation to where we are now.
Well, you mentioned race. I mean, she's got 30 solo blocks alone this year. Well, I will say this. I love the Sun Belt because of where I live, and I've always followed it closely. And I know that there's some really good volleyball going on in the league. This year, you're the torchbearer for all the so-called mid-majors and smaller conferences. So, you know, all I can tell you is it's great what you're doing, and finish strong and enjoy the run.
Well, thank you. We're trying to be the new Daytons. We're trying to be the new Western Kentuckys and join that kind of conversation, Colorado States, of where we're not just a one-hit wonder. We want to kind of build this to last.